Balls, the inappropriately named sports show hosted by me, Coach Orlando, evangelist of alignment, and bringing that to this conversation of sports and politics and culture and all the things. And along with me, the person who tolerated my total immaturity, starting with the name Professor Rochelle. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. I laugh every time I hear the name, so I can't help it. It's just
It is just goofy, but it also captures what I thought. I was like, yes, that's what we're saying. Like, this is crazy. There's some serious stuff going on in the world of sports, starting with our kickoff, which we
yeah.
can have a conversation about, but we don't have any more details in the rest of the world as we record this on Wednesday at around 8 o'clock Eastern, 7
hmm
Central, 5 here out on the Pacific. And apparently, I'll let you share the hot news coming out of Michigan.
Well, it's been a 1-2 combo this afternoon. A couple of hours ago, we learned that University of Michigan football coach Sharon Moore was fired for cause, and that it was connected to an investigation that found credible evidence of an extramarital affair with a staffer in the football program.
Yikes.
Yeah,
So,
he's been married since 2015. Has three daughters, I think, three children. I think they're all daughters. Uh,
I'm assuming his wife doesn't work in the football program.
I've not seen mention of that, so I'm going to
Yeah, that's
assume
probably
right.
not the relationship we're talking
Yeah,
about.
no, that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about.
So it's because there's more to it, but let's just
Yeah,
stop in there for a
let's stop
second.
there for sure.
So when I saw it, the first thing I saw about it was that it was an inappropriate relationship. So I was like, oh, wow. Right? Because I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
first you see fired, for me at least, immediately the first thought was, it's a football thing. And then it was like, yeah, there's nothing to really analyze here. It sounds like my man just really made some poor choices. Um, but you had a reaction. But well, I was very struck by what you saw first and what you thought first, and then having to like check that because I'll talk about that in a second.
Well, I was struck by the fact that he has a lot going on before this
Yeah,
came out.
right.
Like from an infraction standpoint,
Yeah,
the Harbaugh left, leaving behind kind of a mess from a
yeah,
disciplinary
right,
standpoint, right, for the
for
Chargers
sure.
job, and Sharon, well, Moore rather, that's Sharon's his first name, had been disciplined by the NCAA and maybe had to sit out. This is the second season with Michigan as the head
Mm,
coach.
yeah.
Had to sit out a game or two for that sign stealing scandal. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember
I had
that.
forgotten about that.
Yeah,
That was them.
yeah.
See, I don't keep
Mhm.
up with college football the way you do, although I try
I'm
to
not sure
know the
I do,
stories or
friend.
whatever. But
I can
that,
pull nuggets of
yeah,
facts, but
just when you
yeah.
said that, I'm like, oh yeah, there was a thing because I remember people were giving them a hard time
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I remember, sort of the memes around
Mm-hmm.
whatever was going on there,
Yeah.
and but also when I see this kind of thing, I also wonder like what are the machinations, big time football, are they making some move? Is there some coach they
Is
really
there something
want?
right? Right.
Booster? Is this a booster? Blah blah blah.
Right. Right.
But it
Right.
seems like
Yeah.
not
It's not. It's
because yeah,
they had the goods on them, and it's not like the Brian Kelly, which is probably the
right,
closest analog, right, where
hmm
LSU initially attempted to argue that his termination a month or so ago was for cause,
right,
and ultimately, I think they came off of that assertion because there was no they had nothing to hang that assertion
right.
on. He
I mean,
performed poorly,
I mean,
and so you
it
fire him
happens,
without cause. It happens.
right?
Usually, coaches leave involuntarily one way or another. Uh,
This is true.
so this was not that. Like they seem to have had Michigan, on the other hand, had the goods on more.
Yikes.
And the
Yikes. Yikes.
fact that this broke not as an announcement of an investigation, but
Right.
as, hey, he's fired.
That's what I was like. Wait, whoa,
Like,
hey, whoa, whoa. When did the seat get hot? What
right,
happened?
right,
Right.
right. I mean, they're
Yeah.
bowl bound. They're playing
hmm
Texas. Who are they playing?
I can check, but
Yeah,
they
they're
were
playing.
bowl bound, or they are bowl. I shouldn't say they were. They are bowl
Yeah.
bound. They
Um,
figured out.
so the season's still, they're still in the season. It's not, you know, football
Yeah,
playoffs, but
I mean, whatever happened, they were like, "Nah, we got it."
we got it. And
Yeah.
you have to imagine, well, stepping back for a second, as an employment lawyer, like it has the feel of something that came to a head quickly,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah. By the way, just
Monday.
for real, right? I mean,
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
on his Wednesday, and at least Monday, like maybe Tuesday, because I mean,
Yeah.
it feels like this was like,
This had to be that, in part going back to the notion of the fact that this was kept under wraps, like the
mm,
press, nobody had gotten wind of it before now. Like I feel like I suspect that this
mm,
was something that got, whenever it got to the level of needing to be addressed, that part happened quickly. Now what we don't know
wow,
is how much of this was happening kind of in plain sight,
right,
and it was, whether it was like one of those worst kept secrets,
right,
or whether it was something that was truly under wraps that
and
somehow
then
got exposed in some really kind of acute way or circumstance.
something tells me there wasn't nothing cute about it.
It wasn't nothing cute or acute.
It sounded like it must
No,
have been
no,
ugly.
no, it
It
was
sounded,
ugly. It
it
was
sounded
ugly.
like it must have been ugly.
Um,
Wow.
and just in the last hour, if that, additional breaking news about Moore is that he's been detained by the police in Saline, Michigan, which I'm guessing is the Ann Arbor
Ish.
area
Right.
ish. Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to take a quick timeout to make sure we cover this because you were right. They are playing Texas in the
Yes,
Citrus Bowl. So
Citrus Bowl.
you were
Yes,
correct.
sponsored by
Um,
Cheez It. Sponsored by Cheez It, I think.
the sponsorship
You
sometimes
gotta love
like
capitalism.
I'm like that is the name of your company. Like what are you supposed
Yeah.
to do? Like that's what you do. That's what you sell. But what are we doing?
What
Like
are
it
we
doesn't.
doing?
It does
Yeah,
not feel great.
it's better than the Pop
Um,
Tart Bowl. I digress.
correct. Agreed. Agreed. Um, detained is not a word as a rule we want attached to our names. Like we don't know what this is about, but it just can't be good that
It
on the
can't be
day that your firing was announced, you have been detained.
detained.
Yeah.
And the article I read suggested like that he was being searched for, almost like
Oh.
it's like
Ooh.
sought after. So you just have to wonder. There's nothing to speculate over at this point. It's so
Right. I mean,
fresh,
yeah.
but it is a very relevant data point, an important data point to whatever is going on with him. Uh, he's had quite a 12-hour.
Yeah. No,
Period.
that is wild. That
Yeah.
is wild. So we'll see. Watch this space as we continue. I'm sure we will be hearing more. So and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so we'll have some opportunities to talk more about that. Um, all right, so that was our kickoff. Now
Yep.
I want to talk more football, but I'd like
Okay.
to move to the NFL.
Okay, let's do it.
And I'd like to move to the NFL specifically because the story of one Shedeur Sanders has really grabbed my attention. So I'm going to share because I had you having to carry us through that. So I'm going to share quickly a bit about where I am on Shedeur, and I'm very curious because we haven't had this conversation at
Right.
least in like maybe a month or two of even mentioning it. So for me, this kid has, and I say that lovingly. I
Right.
say it fully lovingly. This kid has completely embarrassed the entire NFL because we knew he was nobody's fifth round pick. This is my take. This was just my
Okay.
take. I say we, I'm not, you don't have to join me,
Right.
but I'll say we knew this was nobody's fifth round pick. the rumor was when people came asking about him, they wanted like a second or maybe a third. So I'm like, isn't that fascinating that he's such a fifth round pick that you need a second round? I mean, come on, what are we talking about? And his performance, this is not. We know what some first rounders look like in their first 2-3 starts. Look at JJ McCarthy right now.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy for him and proud of him. But I also find myself, and there's a lot to talk about this, and I might, let's just get into it. But for me, there's an anger in it too.
Yeah. Understandably.
And it feels like a bit of continuation of why I got off the New York Giants train. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, y'all really, like, the bar is so low. Why? Why? Like, can you just clear this bar so I could just enjoy my
Right.
football Sunday,
Right.
please?
Right. Right.
I'm not asking, really? Like, you're gonna break a buck in 2025. That's what we're doing. That was my take on it. So anyway, I had to get that. I want to get that on the table. as we talk about all of it, that I do not come to this from anything that could be described as a neutral position. I've been increasingly on a side very firmly. So
Right.
I offer that up. I'm curious to hear what you're thinking, either about that or just generally about Shedeur.
Yeah. So I have not, I'm confident I have not followed Shedeur as closely as you have. And I'll say
Okay.
that from the outset. That having been said, I've been monitoring him and his father and Travis Hunter since
Mm-hmm.
they were at Jackson State, right? So,
Yeah.
and then the move to Colorado, and, Travis being otherworldly and Heisman
I
Trophy
mean,
winner, and
come on
having
now.
until he got injured, like overworked in Jacksonville. Anyway,
Yeah,
I
that's a whole
digress.
thing.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, that's another thing together. So I'm probably not as invested as you are, but
Yeah.
my observation is that um, Stefanski was almost going out of his way to not. He did not want to ever have to play Shador, and was willing to do like this mental pretzeling and gymnastics
Mm-hmm.
uh, to avoid it. Go.
No, 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 no. That was for the camera thing because I was trying to
Okay,
think
all
of it.
right.
But no. On the Stefanski game, I want you to finish. I really was just moving the camera.
Yeah.
But on the Stefanski thing, that has played very much into the
The thing, yeah,
visceral reaction
the
that I've
feeling,
been
yeah,
having.
for sure, because he has allowed himself to become the face of it, right? Like, and I think back to, I guess, about 10 years ago when Johnny Manziel, heaven forbid, was not going to go in the first round. And he pulls, is it Haslam or somebody, the owner to the side
Mm,
and said, let's wreck this league.
yes.
And then he proceeded
How'd
to do
that
the
how,
opposite.
how'd that go?
How'd that go, right? And so juxtapose that 10 years later to this conflict over a fifth round draft pick and all the machinations to avoid having to play him. We'll start 40-year-old Joe Flacco,
Oh my
right?
God.
We'll start. I'm Annie Agar's referencing Dylan Gabriel's ability to limbo. I'm not going to mention that, but it makes the point.
Yes. First of all, the first time I heard her say it, I was like, that's just not. Come on, y'all. We can't be doing short jokes.
but
Come
there,
on now.
but there she was.
Right,
Like,
right. Come on
so
now.
Dylan Gabriel has not really performed at the level that was expected, right? I mean,
I
am
think
I?
that's. I don't think you'd be breaking news on
I'm
that.
not that. Yeah, that's not a particularly hot take.
Yeah.
And so it's like begrudgingly starting Shador, and I mean, it's one thing not to be starting Shador when he should, but not when it's clear like you're depleted in the depth chart on in QB, and he's not getting like second team reps, like, and
I,
he's your backup. How does that?
I mean, what?
How's he never snapped a ball with the first
I mean,
string
what are we talking
team?
about? What are we
Like,
talking?
because he may have to you. This is how
This
these
is
things work,
it's borderline malpractice.
right?
I mean,
Like,
for your team. Like, never mind that I think developing this kid should be an absolute priority in this organization. I mean, what are we talking about? But yeah, like the fact that the first team line was like, we've never heard his cadence before.
Right, which is wild to think about. Wild. It is malpractice, and it's dangerous.
Right, that too.
It's
Seriously,
so like
seriously, they have to protect him.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Um, so the notion that he has even survived, much less performed at the level that he has, is quite remarkable. I think a lot of the energy around Shedeur, unfortunately, is bound up in this fact that he does not fall easily into the trope of the black male, athlete, the football player, right? Like you cannot, he didn't pull himself up by his bootstraps. He wasn't
right,
from the hood. He's not like,
right.
he didn't, get his contract and the first thing he did was like buy his mom a car or a house. Like he didn't retire his
Everybody in that
parents.
family who won a car got a car.
Got a car. Cars, plural,
Yeah,
right?
no,
And
and I
and
think
and and
yeah,
because of NIL, like he's good. Like he's
yeah,
so
yeah,
you can't box him in the way that the media would want to, in the way that evaluators and scouts would want to. And so
yeah.
I think that's part of what we're seeing is like the resistance is to what he stands for. And
I yes, yes. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, 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 that's it. That's it.
No, I was gonna say I love that what he stands for because I love that you brought up. He doesn't fit right. If you grew up, and I use this very intentionally, on the right side of the tracks, you're supposed to be a little more Russell Wilson. And I don't mean as
Yeah,
an
yeah.
insult to Russell Wilson. I'm saying as
Right.
like a type,
Right.
right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Or you're what you were talking about is that trope, right? With
Right.
the myth of the posse. Like they couldn't wait to put that on him. Like he walked in the preseason, and I wish I could remember which teammate, but his teammate was pulling the speaker or whatever with some music playing, and they're like, oh, with his entourage or his posse, and I was like, that's his teammate on game day. Like what? What are we?
Right.
Why
Right.
are y'all
Right.
saying it like that?
Right. Right.
And like, but I think it was that need to figure out like we don't know what to do with this person who frankly could tell us to take our league and shove it and would be truly fine for the rest of his life.
Right. Right. He is not Lamar Jackson, right? Like you can't he's not Lamar. But the interesting thing is you look at, the quarter black, as Bomani Jones calls him,
Mm,
the even before Shador, you kind of had this trend that was leaning against type. If you look at a Bryce Young,
that's
it
interesting.
if you look at a Jalen, like
That's interesting.
um
Yeah,
uh it's not
Jalen's
and
a really interesting
I
example
mean,
too.
yeah, yeah. And
Mhm.
Cam didn't grow up hard scrabble.
Right, right.
So
So
the
yeah.
trend has been less the
Hmm.
trope. I mean, Lamar's
Well,
kind of the
well,
what I'm calling successful quarterbacks.
yeah. I wouldn't, you and I want to have the conversations we're having, but I wouldn't mind coming back to this quarter black. And I do love that Bobani says. I should listen to him more. Every time I do, I'm glad I did. But anyway, um, I think it would be interesting to walk back through, let's say, the last 10 years
It would be,
and
yeah.
ask ourselves how many fit the trope. Because
hmm
just because a trope exists doesn't mean that it's representative at all. And very different topic, but I remember when I first learned that the CDC had studied um, fathers' involvement in their children's lives, and actually black fathers were outperforming
Yeah,
other races.
yeah.
And that was one of the days when I go, man, that racism get in there one way or another, because I was legitimately like, oh, like I was happy to see it,
Right,
and when I
right,
thought about it, it felt right. But I was surprised. I didn't think outperform.
right.
I am curious if we were to go back through the last 10 years of quarterbacks, if we would be like, no, this
Yeah.
is not but anyway, that's separate. But I think, your point about Shedeur and not fitting into the box, I think, has been particularly interesting because the media can't get him, and they've been trying, baby.
Right. Right.
Hey, Shador, do you think your coach is an idiot? I'm like, what are these questions? Like, what? Why are you asking him? Like I do not ever recall Tom Brady being asked to second guess Bill Belichick.
Right.
Why are
Yeah.
we asking a rookie quarterback? And it's just because this kid sells, gets the clicks, makes the money, and if we could just get him to trip up, if we could just get him to say, "I don't know why they took me off. They should have left me in the game," we can do 2 weeks of sports radio. Well, and I
Oh,
shouldn't
for
say it like
sure.
that's a fact, but it feels. I'm like, what are these questions?
Yeah.
I've been watching football for oh my god, almost going on 50 years pretty
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
Like, I started in elementary school, like 45 years of watching, and I'm like, I've never heard this like this, and it's every week now.
Yeah.
So it does feel very, as they say, just because you paranoid don't mean ain't nobody after you. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's
For
stuff that
real.
I may be attributing, but at the same time, I'm like, the body of work here is telling me
Yeah. It
what's going
it
on.
it can feel conspiratorial at times, but then you have like empirical data that kind of like, okay, well, I can't ignore that. Like, why does Stefanski take him out on the 2 point conversion after he's taking it down the field? Like, they've got like for
And to run that, like,
and and to run and
come
to
on,
run with
come on now. What are we doing?
what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing?
That was an unserious. Let's say for a second, totally, I'm paranoid. That was legit. They had talked about it all season. If we're ever in that situation, we're gonna run this play. Let's just. That's malpractice. Like, I'm like, that's
Hmm.
what kind of play is that? Like, the players did not seem to really know the play.
They did not know the play. They did not seem to have enough familiarity to be expected to in a clutch
I
situation
mean,
such
to
as that
run that,
was.
and the game was literally on the line. Like,
On the line.
what are we doing? So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm happy for him. I'm very curious to see how this plays out. Some people are speculating, oh, Stefanski's done. I'm not so sure.
No, no. I'm not willing to just, we've seen, having watched, I've watched since the early 80s myself. You can't, the cynic in me says it's not that clear cut that Stefanski's out. I just,
I don't. I think people are way ahead of themselves on that one. I'm
I do
like,
too. I
we
do too.
shall see. We
I do
shall see.
too.
All right, so we could do more on Shedeur, and we probably will come back to that black quarterback conversation. I'm going to flag that because I think that's an interesting road for us to go down. You know me, any excuse to talk about Doug Williams, so that alone,
Listen, it all comes back to the king.
it all comes back ugly. But yeah, but speaking of the quarterback position, and from the young black quarterback to the old white quarterback, I believe his name is Philip Rivers.
Yeah.
I have a vague memory of him being a quarterback. I don't know, like 5, 10 years ago. What did you make? I was like, what? What? He's like 44 years.
44, 9 kids, nine,
The
10
oldest of
kids.
whom is older
Is older
than his
than
teammate
the quarter,
Riley.
the QB, the injured QB, right? Yeah,
What
the
is
most
happening?
recently injured QB because
Right.
I mean, they've gone through them.
I mean,
Anthony, Daniel, like it's just been a lineup. Another conversation another day, but
for sure.
so yeah, I mean, I'm really taken by this notion of recruiting of all people of Philip Rivers. Like he's been out 5 years, which makes him eligible for the Hall
That,
of Fame.
I had that thought. I was like, he
And
don't have to wait to go back to go into the Hall
well,
of Fame.
so practice. If he joins the practice squad, that does not interfere with his eligibility. Now,
Oh,
if he's on the 53-man roster
then
Sunday,
that.
the clock like restarts the clock. He has to get another 5 years.
Oh, that explains that. Because I was like, he got off the couch to go be on the practice squad.
Yeah,
Like, but
yeah.
okay, I get that
So
now. Okay, okay,
so
okay.
that's that. I was curious about that as well.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So I'm looking around. I mean, connected to this quarterback conversation, I'm like, all these quarterbacks
yeah.
around that aren't playing and are younger,
I don't know how.
significantly
I
significantly younger.
I don't know how old Kaepernick is, but
I,
I know he ain't 44.
he's not 44. Heck, Cam,
I'm saying 44, yo.
44. I mean, and you talk about malpractice.
Like, what is going on? What is going
Football
on?
is an ultra hazardous activity for the most fit player on the field. For a 44-year-old
Like
to
it,
be
it
out, that's not named Tom Brady,
right, and who hasn't been playing the whole time?
and
Like
who
if he
hasn't
made it at
played,
43, it's sort of like, well,
has admitted his like he has not eaten in a way that's consistent with somebody who's trying to play professional football.
why would he? He is retired,
He's
or he
well
was.
well well retired. 5 years retired, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So baffling, but not so much when you think in terms of gestures
yeah.
wildly, right?
Right,
Like
right. That
he's buddies with the coach.
right. That's
He
what.
saw
Yeah,
he said he saw the dude go down on Sunday and wondered whether the coach was going to reach out to him, and a
give
couple
him a
hours later
call.
he did. So, but this is the same team that thought Jeff Friday was Saturday for Jeff Friday.
Jeff
Jeff
Friday is
Saturday Jeff
totally
Saturday was a
different
good
guy.
idea.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Thought Jeff Saturday was a good idea. So,
Well, maybe, yeah, you may be onto something that maybe they are very like who's in the family, like maybe that's
yeah,
part of the deal. But I just thought that was bizarre. Like, I just
it's
thought
baffling. It's baffling. I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't get it.
look, maybe he really does know the system. They said he and Slade can talk all the time. I just can't see it. I
I
mean,
don't.
44. Like, I know people. I mean, listen, and he been out 5 years, eating and living and hanging out with his kids. Like, I know people who have thrown out their back sneezing. Like,
Listen,
let's be so for real right now.
I'm by the stairs that lead to the lower level of my house.
Right.
If I hit these stairs just the right way, my sciatica, I'll be out a week. Easy. Just one little let this right hip do something it
Dude,
shouldn't do going
come
down this
on,
first step.
tell it.
So I am, but I think it speaks to a broader this mythology we have around the white quarterback and his ability and even his ability to return to form that we would not extend to, or do not extend to retired black quarterbacks.
100%. And it's funny because I had a thought immediately. It was like, well, if he knows the system and he's been reading defenses, but I was like, NFL defenses are totally different than they were in 2020.
Yes,
Like, unless he's actively, like, you can't give him that credit. Like, I started to give him that credit, and then I was like,
right,
no, actually, like, they were doing very different things 5 years ago, and
right.
I happen to be the kind of geek who who knows that.
Well,
And so,
right.
yeah, I thought it was, anyway, we shall see how that plays out. But I thought, must be nice to have friends.
It must be. It must be. So
Yeah,
I mean, will I be watching or monitoring on
right.
Sunday? Absolutely.
I'm super curious. I mean, look, it'll be a super fun story if he comes out and he's like dad playing official quarterback with the kids, just chucking it all over the place. I don't know. I don't know how this plays out, but I know if some linebacker get a good shot on him, this little experiment about to be over.
Do we know who they're playing on Sunday?
I can check. I did know. My brain isn't gonna give it to me. I know that. Hold on, I'll check that while we talk. But yeah, I just that's my big concern with it is that he will.
Seahawks.
Cool, thank you. Um, yeah, that's not a see. That's what I'm saying. Like that's not no defense to be playing with
Right.
at full strength. Like if you
Yeah.
28, I'm still like, yo, watch your back.
Watch your back. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, we shall see. But yeah, I was with you, and so I'm waiting to see how much commentary there'll be around here's a list of quarterbacks who did not get a call,
Right.
because I think that's going to be a very interesting list. And he, anyway, he ain't retired because he was ripping up the league. That's the other thing I'm gonna say
No,
is
no.
we are over 5 years from the
Ma-
best of Philip Rivers.
Mans is a Hall of Fame candidate, no doubt, but he never made it to a Super Bowl,
That
right?
part, yeah. And the last, the end of it was not,
In
So
the end of it, yeah.
yeah,
So we'll see.
we shall see. But the first I heard it, I thought it was a joke. But there you go.
Yeah, I thought it was too. Like certainly, like even if they are talking, like he certainly isn't going to entertain.
What? Anyhow.
Here we are.
All right. And then the last of our NFL specific stories, as we talk about a little football first, is uh, Mike Tomlin. Now you
Yeah.
brought up Mike Tomlin, so I'm gonna let you lead us into, because I have a few
Well,
different thoughts on this season than Mike Tomlin. But yeah,
well.
you lead us into this
Okay, I'll try. Like I let me just start off. Like I love Coach.
one.
He is just he is my favorite NFL coach, active coach, and is on my all time list. I think he is a leader of men in a way that resonates. My observation as
Yes,
a
I
woman,
would
my
totally agree.
observation is he is a leader of men,
Totally agree.
and can is that coach that inspires in such a way that gets men to folks want to run through a brick wall for him,
Yep.
right? And so
Yep.
you have him on one end of the spectrum, and then like a Mike McDaniel's on the other, which I
Where you
don't
just
like.
go,
It's like kind of the opposite, right?
yeah. What's
And
happening?
so, um, the knocking on the door, the loud knocking on the door, insisting that he bring his behind out of the Steelers organization into the cold, harsh netherworld that is the rest of the league, and I have no doubt that he would be a highly sought commodity as a coach amongst the other 31 teams. I don't
Of,
doubt that.
of course.
What team wouldn't want to Mike? But I
To me, and I'm trying to think of something quickly, but it's almost like I used to do. Maybe this gets us in the direction. I used to do a
okay,
joke about how the only thing standing between me and Halle Berry is Daphne. For those of you who don't know, Daphne's my wife, right? So I used to do this joke, right? And the whole point of the joke is I'm living a lie, but you can't prove me wrong, so I'm gonna live my lie. Like I like my
right,
lie, and
right.
I'm gonna live my lie. Like to me, the rest of the league is living a lie. Why would this man
Why would
leave
he
this
leave that?
job to
Why
go
would he
deal
leave
with anybody
anybody
else?
else?
Like
Right.
I say, you walk out of there and you get on a fishing boat, right? Like I
Because
don't.
yeah,
What?
because organizationally, and from a culture standpoint, I think the Steelers historically have probably one of the best sustained cultures in
Oh,
the
absolutely,
National Football League, and
absolutely.
and so he's going to leave that to go to Jacksonville,
To go to New York and
to
deal with
go
the
to
New
To
York
go to New
press.
York,
What? Why?
to go
What?
to Arizona. Like
Huh?
so granted, the Steelers haven't performed at Steeler like Super Bowl, haven't been to a
Right.
Super Bowl in a minute.
Yeah.
And I know that's the standard for them. And not only going, but winning, right?
Yeah. No, I mean they,
Like
a
and they
decorated
and
organization.
there are only so many, consecutive you can only get so excited about 500 so many,
I
consecutive 500 seasons,
know.
right?
I know.
I get it. And getting blown out, making it to the playoffs, I guess 3 times in the last however many years and kind of getting blown out. Like,
It's
I
not been.
get it. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
I do think that a large part of what's going on, there's a criticism that, like adjustments aren't being made and like not tapping into what he has, but he doesn't have much. He hadn't had a quarterback.
I know.
He hadn't had a
I know.
quarterback in.
I well, because I want to come back to it, but on the quarterback specifically. First of all, I will say this: I think the Aaron Rodgers thing worked out better than I thought it would.
It's not been the disaster,
I thought it was going to be a
the
disaster.
the rank disaster I thought it was going to be. It
Use
hasn't
the
been
right
that.
word.
So
Use the right
kudos.
word. I thought it was going to be. I was like, is this like career suicide? Like, what is he doing? And it has not been that. But in a way, he may end up. or he may have already been a victim of what you just described about him, that quality in him, that if you just give him 53 people who are at a basic NFL level, he gonna at least go 500,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is in a way he's a victim of his own quality as a coach, because if they had just had a couple 2 and 15s, now we have 17 games, a couple, I mean, 3 and 14s, 4 and 13, whatever, then you get that draft pick, or you get to
Right, right,
trade your draft
right,
pick and
right.
collect some talent in a draft or whatever. They're always in that middle of the pack place where they're
Yep,
gonna get a good player, but they're not gonna get somebody who's like, they're not most likely to get somebody who's gonna change the course of your franchise.
that's right.
And
That's right.
certainly not a franchise quarterback at,
Right.
whatever it would be. Somewhere between 12 and, I'm sure they have picked between 12 and 24, and I didn't look, but
Hmm.
just I'm sure they have picked between 12 and 24 90% of the last 20 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Just
and so, yeah. So anyway, I'm curious what your thought is on that.
yeah. I mean, I think that this is kind of I'm going to try to untangle this. So I think one of his challenges is the personnel that he's had the last 10 years. From a
Mhm.
declining Roethlisberger to the strength. The turnstile of like
Right.
Russ. Oh, I mean
I
they've
mean,
been almost Browns like in the number of quarterbacks they've had the last like since Roethlisberger at least.
I think the Browns have saved them from getting
Like
talked about.
like Mason Rudolph. I mean
Didn't they have
Mason.
Tom Zach at one point?
Yeah,
I mean, they've
Russ.
had a lot.
They've had a lot. Justin and Russ were back and forth. Justin
Oh,
Fields last year.
that's right. And then, yeah, things haven't gone
So
so great.
they've had
Yeah.
the kid that went to Tennessee. I can't recall his name. Uh,
Not
um,
Mason.
mm-mm.
Nah, that's okay.
But my point is, like in so many years, they've almost had a quarterback a year. Like
Right.
it's just been a revolving door of quarterbacks, and so there's no stability at the position. There's been, I mean, a decline. Well, I don't know if you want to call Antonio Brown like they had one of the best wide receivers
Yeah.
in the league until like
Yeah.
that. So they
Another
had it and
another
they
conversation we
lost
need to
it.
have. Right.
Yes, they had it, they lost it, and it's hard for them, in large part for what you are bringing up around like where they end up falling record wise doesn't really give them a bounty of opportunities to exploit the draft in the way they would need to really reset.
To that, and part of me says, part, you can make that his fault. You could say, oh, he's, oh yeah, he's only around 500, he hasn't won, whatever. Or, and I'm not saying this is going to happen overnight, but I feel like this says to me there's a flaw in the system.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the tankathons every year are a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I find it kind of insulting. You get to the point where in these final weeks of the season, like there's a percentage of games where you're like, okay, so we just gonna walk through this. This is what we're doing,
Right, right.
right? And so, yeah, I feel, I don't know. I don't have the solution at the ready, but I
But
feel
that's
like
that's a part of the problem, right?
there has to be some kind of, I don't know what it would be to address that. If you actually put forth the effort, it's gonna cost you.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just, but here we are. Yeah. So anyway,
And
but
and,
you were
and on
going
top of
beyond
that,
that. Yeah.
yeah, and I think the Steelers have had is it three coaches in their history? The Steelers
Yeah.
are in a
That's crazy.
they don't
That's
they
crazy.
don't they don't fire coaches,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah. Like in
so
my lifetime, they've had three
he would
coaches.
have to leave. Like they're never firing Mike Tomlin, and so it would have to be his choice.
Right.
And I and this is an organization that has been among the more progressive.
Right.
The Rooney Rule, another conversation.
Yeah.
But we know that it's named after the owner because
I
he was
know.
the
So
proponent of
yeah.
it. Right. He
Yeah.
was a part of the
Yeah.
negotiation of that
To
compromise
make
because
that
that's
happen.
what it
Yeah.
was.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't just a negotiator and a part of that group that implemented it, he believed it.
Oh
And
yeah, no,
right,
he
and Tomlin
did.
is the fruit of the Rooney tree. That's kind of that was held up as kind of the success story and the model for how the Rooney Rule should work
Right,
20 years ago,
right, right, right.
literally 20 years ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So when you have an organization whose culture is like that, and they are the exception, rather, to the rule,
Right,
in
right.
big, in the league,
Hmm.
what team, going back to our original point, like what team would he look at and be like, it's not the Steelers, but
Right. Like, what's he gonna do? Go work for Jerry Jones? Like, what is he
like,
getting ready to go do?
I mean, culturally, I'm trying to think. I'm just thinking of teams and owners now. The 49ers,
Maybe I could see that. There's at
maybe.
least it seems like a cultural stability there.
Right.
So I could, yeah, okay,
The
all right, I see
Eagles,
that.
the
I see that.
Eagles.
Although, yeah, I have to separate that from my present sort of sense that there's chaos in Philly, but
Right,
yeah,
right. The
but
chaos. Right,
but
right.
the very fact that we're sort of going what
I don't
for,
know. I don't
like,
know.
it really speaks to he's in a very specific position, and I was a
Not
dude.
not the Chiefs. Just we know that the
Oh
conservative nature of the Hunt family right now, like, is a complete
yeah, no,
departure from Lamar Hunt and how innovative he was, and integrating and bringing black players from HBCUs into the AFC before the
mhm,
merger, and
mhm.
um,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not the Chiefs don't have, like, they don't have those sensibilities anymore. His 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 folk down the line, his son and granddaughter, like, they don't hold those progressive views. So where is Tomlin to go?
nah. I don't. Yeah, if he's gonna leave that position, because even I think, excuse me, there were people like Parcells who I think could. I mean, he loved coaching, but he could, I think, do the sort of like front office, chief of football operations, or part GM kind of thing. I get the sense that the part Tomlin likes
It's the coaching.
is the coaching. Like,
Yeah.
having him do something else would be like,
Yeah, I don't think he's interested. I think he is interested in bringing men together for a common cause
and
and
making it happen.
seeing them and making it happen.
I will, and I've promised some other stuff, so I'm now gonna have to go back through episodes and keep my promises. But I'm gonna try to remember to put into the show notes. There's a great clip from an interview that he did with Ryan Clark on that
Yes, from
podcast.
the pivot. Yeah.
Yes, and the pivot. Thank you. And
Hmm.
when he starts talking about how some coaches shy away from, basically they go to comfort, and they shy away from
Yeah. Yeah.
discomfort and coaching and the hard part. So that was when I was like, oh, he got it in his veins.
Yeah.
Like,
He strikes me as being Saban-esque in that way. Like,
yeah,
it's just in his, Saban likes coaching young men.
yes,
Tomlin, I don't, Tomlin is, I think, would say, like, I prefer the professional. Like, I'm,
yeah, yeah. And think about it, when he got that job, there were players, I want to say, who were older than him on the roster.
yeah, he was
He's been there
young.
for
Yeah,
a minute.
he was young. And ironically, I think I heard Bomani just talking about this the other day. The Dolphins didn't hire him because he was too hip hop.
Wow,
Like, that was,
wow.
it's too hip hop. And
Okay.
so
Silence is a good entertainment, but
it's a
I felt like I needed to let that sit there for a second. Wow. Okay.
little
Okay.
bit too hip hop.
All right. So I'm gonna move us because we could certainly dive into that quote.
We could unpack that for a whole hour.
What in the world? Okay. WNBA negotiations. So last week, you and I had an opportunity, because we had to take a little time off, to talk
Yep.
about the WNBA conversation. Nafisa Collier had set off a
It's,
nuclear bomb in
yeah,
the world of
she sure
sports,
had. Yep.
right? And I thought that was certainly the like, this ain't gonna go down quiet, and this ain't gonna go down pretty. And so, yeah, I will turn to you and say, yeah, what do you have detail wise? I've seen some stuff about like housing and but I
Yeah.
haven't really gotten a
Yeah.
sense of like, well, what's really going on?
So contract, and I should, as a caveat or a disclaimer, to the extent it's relevant. I have been a partial season ticket holder for the Atlanta Dream, so
Mhm.
I actively support the league, and I'm anxious to see them hopefully work out a contract that really does improve the plight of the players because
Mhm.
their value has been shown since the last contract. If it
A
wasn't
hundred.
already demonstrated,
Oh,
right? Like
right. Yeah,
um,
we cannot deny
um,
now. Yeah, come on now.
Mark Davis purchased the Aces in 2021 for like $2
I,
million.
is that right?
It's like pennies,
Right, compared
pennies,
to where
and
you're.
now it's worth hundreds of millions. I think it might be
Is it
200 million.
really?
Like it's worth an astronomical
I
amount
didn't realize it
now.
was
Like
worth that
value,
much.
yeah, like the
I knew it had
valuation.
gone like,
It's
you know.
crazy. It's crazy.
Mm,
So, the value proposition looks materially different. And
yeah,
along with that, the players are demanding more because it's been the value has increased because of the players. Like,
right.
you know, so some key proposals. So we're actually in an extension period for CBA negotiations.
Oh,
I think it originally expired. It would have originally the negotiations would have expired or ended in, was it mid to late October?
yes. So that's the last I knew, and then
Right.
yeah.
And
Okay.
so now they've extended negotiations until like January 9th. And, if they get to
Okay.
January 9th and they still aren't there, but are working in good faith and things are moving forward, they'll likely kick the can down the
Yeah.
road a little bit more to give them more time.
Right.
But some key issues are revenue sharing, salaries, housing, benefits, the draft combine, and some
Mm,
of them are real sticking points. And this housing thing, as you mentioned, is kind of huge for them because
yeah.
because um, because of what I'm going to call the volatility or the high level of player mobility, isn't maybe
Yeah.
another way to put it. Like
Yeah. Yeah. That's a neutral way to describe
players get
it. Hmm.
released on a dime and get put on 7 day contracts,
Contracts, I know. Yes. Wow.
and they don't get paid as much as like their counterparts in the NBA and
Right.
NFL or MLB. So them having league provided or team provided housing is a boom,
Yeah.
and the leagues provide or teams provide a stipend for players, a living stipend, and I'm looking here, our housing stipend. Like the Dream, for example, their stipend is $1,294, and that's kind of that might be the lowest. No, the Aces are the lowest at
Oh,
1,177, and I'm assuming that's
I was gonna
a
ask.
player,
So
right?
that's the housing allowance. That's not like
Yeah.
okay. All right. Okay.
And like the highest is, I mean, and this makes sense, would be the Liberty, but it's high.
Yeah.
The cost of living in New York is
Yeah. I
higher.
guess Liberty.
So you
Yes.
have a range. You have a range,
Yeah.
and for players that get dropped and or get traded to a team overnight, like they need to be able to have some stability in housing, and so the current provisions allow for provide for that. The WNBA has I guess not offered, but it's taking the position that if we're going to give these concessions around salary, we're going to
Yeah.
ask you all to give up the mandatory housing piece.
The problem. The problem. I just immediately, as you say that, is, and rightfully, I'm not saying that everybody should get the same amount of money. I don't think that's a rational way to deal with a league of this sort. The players who are signing the 7 day contracts are not going to be the players who are making the kind of money that makes people go, what do they need a housing contract for?
Right,
Right?
right,
Because not like you
right,
weren't living anywhere. And if you only gonna be there for 7 days, you gotta keep
right.
what you had, or you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, but so anyhow, I didn't mean
And
what has been the player response to that particular piece, or do you have any?
oh, they are strongly objecting to it. And as I think about it, like they have stipends, but it looks like some players live together. Like
That makes sense.
the stud buds are roomies,
Yeah, that makes
right?
sense. Hmm.
And Marina and the rookie, Connecticut. NC State. My goodness.
I'll pull her.
This brain fog. Why am I?
The problem is
It,
we really do just have these conversations. So it's not like we've got a whole,
NC State. Was she a first rounder? Connecticut Sun. And you're gonna say her name. I'm gonna be super mad because like
I'm sure because why is my brain not doing it? Here we
um,
go. Oh, Sanaya Rivers, of course.
Sanaya, yes. So I think
I don't know why
Sanaya
I
and
think I
Marina
just
are roomies. So this housing thing is a big, and I think when Nalissa, well, Nalissa and Dejanay, when they were playing together in Dallas for that brief season before Nalissa went to the Aces, I think
right.
they might have been living together.
Got
So
it.
like this is an important
That's
issue for them because of the mobility piece and the need to
right.
be able to like Nalissa to a point like what literally like in hours she has to like she's notified that she's been traded to the Aces and has to pack up and go like it's
And that's
not
that. Right.
and that's that so they need the flex but like the certainty that comes with knowing that when they wherever they're moving to there's like guaranteed housing that helps them in the transition even if they go on to be able to get their own place like
Sure.
knowing
Sure.
that they don't really have to worry about signing anything for a long term when they don't know how long literally
Hmm.
unless you're an upper echelon player you don't know how long you're going to be there I mean those
Right.
those those non first round draft picks I mean they
I
really
mean,
bounce
listen,
around. They
not
really
only do
bounce
they bounce
around.
around, the number of people who get drafted and don't make it to the first game is kind of
It's
crazy.
wild. Wild.
So you think about oh, I got drafted to the league, I'm gonna be in Chicago. You go, you get your place to live, whatever. And by the time this game's being played, you got a place, you got a lease,
Yeah, yeah,
and what
yeah.
else? Um, I'm curious. One of the things I've been seeing, even like the $1 million salaries, and there's this sort of the knee jerk sexism of like, oh, nobody wants to do that. So I'm gonna put that aside for a moment because kind of who cares about that? But it felt to me when I saw the $1 million number in terms of salary, and maybe I misunderstood some piece of this. So tell me, you'll correct me. But when I saw that number, I thought the league did that because there's something about saying somebody wants $1 million that I think still carries some weight, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that it's some women, and I think they're kind of leveraging that on the public front. I'm curious, one, what you got from
Yeah.
that little piece, but like if you think there's anything to what I'm saying here.
Yeah, no, it's funny you mention it because I think you've just like provided like words to how I felt about how I reacted to it. Like, oh,
Mhm.
the league knows that the $1 million number like
Right?
psychologically that resonates with the public. Like you're making $1 million and you're telling me
Million.
you're not happy. What are you talking about?
That's
Right?
totally different than saying somebody's making $900,000. It's
Right,
totally
right,
different.
right. You've entered into another echelon, and I think the
Mm-hmm.
league knows that, and
Yeah.
they're like leveraging that a bit for
Yeah.
sure,
Okay.
for
Okay.
sure. No, we're on the same page.
Yeah. Look, it's not my money to spend, obviously. I'm not a billionaire owner. I'm not any of these things. I guess you could be a millionaire owner depending on when you got involved with the WNBA. But at any rate, I feel like they have this opportunity, the way I would describe it, natively support the athletes in a way that I think the men's major sports leagues, where they do take care of the players, have had to be sort of dragged
Mm-hmm.
to that point. And I thought the whole thing of like childcare, when I hear this living thing, I'm like, what would it really cost the average franchise to somewhere near their practice facility buy or build some basic multi unit that's their place, and like maybe some assistant coaches live there or whatever. Like it seems to me there's an opportunity. I shouldn't even say because that's not really my idea. Like whatever, that's just an example of an idea. But it seems like there's this opportunity to have a relationship with the players and a sense of common cause that I feel like was sold initially with the WNBA. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, women, girl power, blah blah blah, and 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 I guess I'm like, why don't I feel that energy in this conversation? It feels truly, and maybe it's because of the Nafisa piece and what we heard from there, and the she should be on her knees. So it got contentious. But I'm almost saying, like, underneath it all, it seems like the culture of the league amongst the players is much more like we're in this together. And I thought that was a much more like globally WNBA kind of vibe. So I'm a bit surprised that it's as contentious as it is. I guess I'm wondering if you are as surprised as I am, and if just from there, what your reaction is to that.
And I want to be, you broke up for just a second, so I missed some of what you
Okay,
said. So I
okay.
want to be clear about what it is that you were surprised about.
That it's as contentious as it is. That there's
Yeah.
not. I thought there would be more with the WNBA, and I don't mean this in a Pollyanna way, like but like just as a vibe of the league. I felt
Mm-hmm.
like initially the vibe was girl power, we're in this together, kind of a thing, and this has seemed so contentious. Like, just because your adversary's in a negotiation
Yeah.
doesn't mean that it has to be contentious. I've been a bit surprised that that's been the vibe.
Yeah. And my answer to that might be cynical, but it might just be capitalism. Like, I think what has changed, that
I
like
had a feeling you
the
would say
vibe shifted when money started getting, like, more money
that.
was, like
Right,
it was vibes because wasn't
right,
making money, and
right,
I don't, they're generating revenue, but they're not making a
right.
profit. Is
That,
that the
yeah,
distinction, right?
that was the
Well,
big thing.
they're generating more revenue,
Yeah,
so okay, it's less vibey, girl. Like,
right,
now
right,
it's money. Now it's
right, right,
money.
right, right. I
Now it's
wasn't really
money,
intended
right?
having a
Yeah.
roommate through my entire adulthood.
Yeah, like now it's like, okay, now we've kind of evolved from that place of vibes, and now like we're there. The players seem to be approaching it more like a business,
Yeah,
and less like a communal.
yeah,
Sisters are doing it for themselves, and like it's a WNBA as a league, and so
right.
we're gonna work. No, I think that like,
Yeah.
and also like appreciating perhaps. Appreciating that the NBA is still heavily involved in this, right, and controlling this as well.
So
So
they
like
can't let it
getting
get too crazy,
it
because
can't.
then
Yeah, like
that's
at the end of
interesting.
the day, men are still kind of controlling this. Like
Yeah,
Adam Silver is.
he's still
We see
ultimately who we
Kathy
call it.
Engelbert, but
Right, right. It's highly doubtful that she is just off doing whatever she doing.
she's got orders now.
Yeah,
Now there's a separate conversation around her personality and whether she's the best face person.
right. Yeah, she
Could they have done better in like in selecting a commissioner?
maybe.
Maybe, right? So, but I think that the players have just gotten more savvy
Mm,
and business-like in their approach, and
yeah,
you have seen a shift. I mean, there's a whole conversation around how the players have shifted their priorities over the last 5 years.
mm-hmm.
From
Say more.
activism to coins,
Yeah,
like.
right. And you're right. And capitalism is there. And then part of me, when that gets said thinks, oh, let's not let that be all we care about. But then another part of me is like, but just like
But
I just, the male athletes, we all say, oh, they have this small window to make their money and they have to live all. So it's like, it ain't no less true just because they're
right.
women.
Right. In fact, it's more true because the window's smaller, and yeah, the bags are smaller. The opportunity to make money. Well, the funny thing is, the money to be made for women's basketball is not in the WNBA. I mean,
That's the
if
other,
these women really wanted to make money,
right. If that was their only priority, yeah, they go
they'd be doing what Kennedy Carter's been forced to do: play internationally.
my feelings on that. I'm mad
Yeah.
about that. But
So
yes, and I guess the, there was talk at one point about another, like, a basically an alternate league. Like, if there's gonna be a strike or a work stoppage or whatever the right word is to use, and I always confuse when you're supposed to say one and when you're supposed to say the other. as the labor attorney, you'll correct me, I guess. But if there wasn't going to be WNBA action, I felt like I heard murmurings of there was going to be something else.
Wait, you've heard about this B League?
Help me out, because I
Yeah,
feel I
so
just kind of vaguely was like,
it's, I
well, what?
mean, my help is going to be quick. It's Saudi money. It's
Oh,
Saudi money.
oh,
But a bunch of like high profile WNBA players have signed up with the B League. I think NECA. Like I'll have to look up the
oh
like
wow! So
it's some heavy
it's for
hitters
real,
that are playing with for they're there's the players that are going with there's a small league that plays out of Nashville, Athletes Unlimited, but I'm trying to think of the 3-on-3 league that's that Nafisa and
oh Lord have
I
mercy.
swear I
Two,
do this all.
I,
This is my
this
life, Orlando. I spend
it's
my time trying to think of the names of
unrivaled.
people. Unrivaled. So
Yeah,
there's
man.
Unrivaled.
Come on, we
There's
got it.
there's Unrivaled. There's the small Athletes Unlimited. Not quite as well
Right.
known, but you still have some good
Yeah.
at like Alicia Clark usually. I guess because she's Tennessee
Mhm.
connected. Like she usually plays with
Unlimited.
Athletes Unlimited. Sid
Right.
Colson usually
Got it.
plays with that. So those count good athletes,
Yeah.
but the B League is
So,
like probably the comparator to with unrivaled. I regard unrivaled and B League as kind of being on a parallel, but B League
that'll be interesting to see.
is Saudi money,
Well,
and make of that what you will.
yeah. Well, here. Okay. So I'm gonna speak to that piece a little bit, and we talk about how it's gonna speak to culture. So this is actually this kind of works. So as soon as you say Saudi money, I'm sure you saw my shoulders slump a little bit.
I did.
And here, I get that we live in a capitalist society. I get it. But I think part of what needs to be built into a capitalist society that's gonna make it, and I'm not so convinced this one is
I'm
gonna
not sure.
make
I'm
it
not sure we are.
for real. Like for real, I'm like,
That's not a
we,
given, but
we will see
continue.
how this goes. Is it there has to be something else? There has to be more, or
No,
some
for
things
sure.
else that
Yeah.
that guides us. Like it can't just be. And I would say that about really about anything, right?
Hmm.
Like I just think there's a lot to be said from Aristotle's golden mean to my father saying to me everything in moderation to what I mean. Like balance is an important thing, and all money ain't good money.
That's right. That's
And
right.
I just when that live tour took hold,
Oh,
I mean, they converted like this. I mean, they were like, "Oh, we're not," and it felt like I went to bed and woke up, and everybody was cool. I said, "Wow,
right. Yeah.
wow,"
Yeah.
and I'm really concerned about it because we're really getting into some seriously. This is not just, and I shouldn't say just because I think it's very serious. I don't eat Chick-fil-A, whatever. So like I think when we say like, oh, this company supports this and this company supports that. But when we like, there's a whole government who supports like global terrorism. like
Right. Right. And but like do folks understand that? Do they even appreciate that like when so let me tell you, I pulled up quick out
yeah,
some of the
yeah, yeah,
names.
yeah.
NECA, Alyssa Thomas, Jonquel Jones. These are all players who've signed on with B
Dang,
League. Jewel Lloyd, Camila
dang.
Cardoso,
These are like
so,
MVP candidates.
Sophie
Like,
Cunningham, Kelsey Mitchell.
wow,
The format: 6 teams of 11 players competing in a global traveling tournament circuit,
global.
set to run November to April. Obviously, that's not quite. Maybe it'll start 26. Maybe.
Right.
Leadership founded by tech executives with investors like Candace Parker and support from the Saudi Public Investment Fund.
Look, I want the best for these women. I hope they get the money, keep the money, all that. And I've been saying this on a lot of fronts. I know the Saudi money has been going into the combat sports. I know the Saudi money, obviously, like I just mentioned, golf. It's not. It's for me and my reaction to it. It's not a purity thing. It's not like
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like this is gonna have implications, y'all.
It's
Like,
gonna it's gonna have to, and I guess I will express, I think, some disappointment uh, that like some players that I hold in high regard,
yeah, yeah.
like aren't more attuned to the geopolitical
I mean,
situation that we're in right now, especially given the fact that one of their colleagues was holed up in a Russian gulag.
that's what I'm saying. Like
Like,
this is real. Like, I'm sure the Saudis don't want to be responsible for a bunch of American basketball players getting jacked up, but like, this is not a game.
it's
Like,
not a game. Like, it's not a game. Like,
I'm concerned. I have concerns.
I
Really,
have, yeah, like
yeah, yeah,
suffice it to
yeah.
say. So
No, and
we'll see.
that list is pretty shocking. I mean, for those who do keep up with the WNBA, you recognize every single one of those names. For those of you who don't, you probably recognize a couple. And if you don't keep up with it at all, let me assure you, that would be like saying Steph Curry,
Yeah,
LeBron,
yeah.
KD, like James Harden. Like, that was quite a list.
Neck is the union
I
president.
mean, whoa. So it's interesting. I mean, and they may feel like, well, you forced me into somebody else's arms,
Yeah, yeah,
So I get that part too. And you want to have choices. But anyway, I definitely have a thing on that. Now, if we're good there, I would like to go to our overtime and talk a little bit of college football.
yes. And this is all you, my brother. I'm gonna chime in, but I know you've needed to get this off for a second.
Yo, okay, we can talk about the college football players for a second. Can we please talk about Lane Kiffin?
You have
Can
the
we
floor.
please? Okay, look, I get, again, it's a capitalist society. But the whole conversation of him leaving his players high and dry, he recruited them kids there.
Hmm.
They gave him their all. They are 11-1. That is not anything to sneeze at in the Southeastern Conference. That is crazy. Like, what they did is amazing. It is the best season in the school's history.
Yes.
I cannot accept, oh, it was a great opportunity as an acceptable reason for leaving them kids high and dry. If you told me the man got a cancer diagnosis, I'd be like, you know what? Wow, that's horrible that he can't finish the journey. But the idea that, like, well, he had to do it.
He had to do it.
I'm like, he ain't have to do it. And it bothers me, not just that he didn't make the choice I would have liked to have seen made. Part of what's really been irking me, and it's like some of the stuff we're talking about, where I'm like, I don't even get the sense that the fact that he made a promise to these kids and should have stayed is really being respected as like a real position. I feel like it's like similar to what we were saying about the Saudi money. It's almost like all that matters is the pockets are deeper, the recruiting is easier. I'm like, but what about, you told people's parents, send me your son?
Yeah.
Like, what about that? And even the idea of like, oh, the window's messed up. And I'm not saying that the college football windows are right. And I think it's crazy to be hiring coaches now. Like, that's crazy too. But I'm like, the man's making millions of dollars a year. Would it be so crazy to expect any of these coaches, you know what, if you're coaching on that level and you're going to leave a program, step down at the end of a season,
Yeah.
go be in somebody's Saturday pregame lineup, and then the next year you get hired. Like, but I just, for me, and it's funny because we've talked about bringing the align piece and this culture piece. I'm just like, what bothers me isn't that he chose the money so much as I feel like there isn't a legitimate conversation around, are we always only going to choose the money? I'm not saying don't choose the money. I'm not saying money's not important. I'm saying, like, is that truly in the world that gave us greed is good, which I have a whole theory about that being like this absolute touchstone of a moment in American history, not even film history. I'm here to say I think greed is not good.
Yeah.
I think greed is
Yeah.
bad, and I guess I'm wondering why that seems like such a like crazy thing to say in public these days. Lane Kiffin was not gonna miss no meals if he took 1 year off of coaching, and he would have gotten paid to do something.
Oh, for sure. And I think we can't lose sight of the fact that this is Lane Kiffin. And so
That's
if nothing else, he's gonna do him at all times.
yeah, no,
And
he
so
ain't
and
gonna
so for
sacrifice
me,
somebody else.
I hate it most for the student athletes as well. Um, just leaving them high and dry at the height when they should be at the height of their celebration around the season they've put together. And I'm biased, but I think it's the toughest league in the
I mean, it's hard to argue otherwise. I mean,
Saturday to Saturday. It's the
I,
tougher.
yeah, I will acknowledge your bias, and I will also say, if not the SEC, then who?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
And so I don't. It's not the Big Ten. I mean,
right,
notwithstanding the fact that the last two. Did I have that right? Last two champions, Big Ten, Michigan
might
and
be
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Yeah,
Yeah. It's not the Big Ten. It's the SEC. Saturday to Saturday.
yeah,
It's the gauntlet down here.
yeah. No, for
Uh,
sure.
but frankly, I think Lane Kiffin going to Louisiana State is so appropriate for both of them. I love that for them. They deserve each other.
I get it
And,
too. But
and those
yeah, no,
football
this seems
players,
like
frankly, at Ole Miss deserve better than Lane. They deserve better than Lane.
and I hope they get better than Lane. And I say that like, I don't keep up with his every move, but I'm like, he's definitely an example of like, it can't be everybody else, bro.
Right?
It can't be everybody
You're the
else.
common denominator.
Everywhere you go, it ends
Listen,
ugly, bruh.
listen.
Everywhere you
There's
go.
a reason why there's a reason why he gets fired on tarmacs. There's a reason why, like, was it Al Davis that purportedly
The
brought out like
overhead
an overhead
projector.
projector,
Yeah.
like, hey, so doing like
I'm,
diagrams to show like
I'm saying, I was like, you brought the social studies teacher in Al Davis. Like,
there's a
bruh.
reason why Saban let him go. He referenced
It
Saban
wasn't
and
that.
Pete Carroll as folks he talked to and consulted with, what his dad would want him to do and all that. But even Saban had his cup full of Lane.
Didn't he fire him a bowl week? Like, is that, am I
Yeah,
remembering
yeah, because
that
he
incorrectly?
was too distracted on the next. Like he let him. I think it was a thing where he was going to. I don't. Was he headed to? Where did he
Is that
leave?
when
Where
he
did he
was going
go
to? He
to?
wasn't going to SC then, though. He was going.
No, SC
I didn't.
was before. I think SC was before Alabama,
Oh, right.
right?
That's how. Yeah, Alabama
Was it
was the original.
South Florida? Did he go to South Florida?
Yes, that is
There
where he
might
went.
have. And he
Yeah, I
kind of
think
had his eye too much on the next job rather than being in the moment preparing our players for
yeah.
whatever play like the
But
semifinals game or
think about how egregious. I'm not saying Nick Saban comes across as the easiest man to work for. Quite the opposite. But imagine how egregious your behavior would have to be on that particular front that he was like, I'm not just gonna have a talk with you and send you unhappily on your way. You got to go today.
you got to go, bro. You got to go. And coach was rehab at Tuscaloosa was rehab central for
Yeah, because he was the only one that came in there and cleaned up.
wounded coach puppies. Like Sark
Mm-hmm,
came through.
mm-hmm,
Kiffin, I mean,
mm-hmm.
um, they came if they had a problem,
He took him in.
he took them in.
Yep.
But he was the only one where he was like, nah, you know what? Like you're brilliant and
We good. We
but
good.
I'm in charge here and mm-mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're good.
we'll see how it goes at LSU. I do join you, although I feel bad for those kids. I do join you in y'all kind of deserve each other. Again, I'm
Have at
not the
it.
biggest college football person, but my sense of LSU football writ large and Lane Kiffin is like, one, this is going to be entertaining, and two, this is going to end poorly.
For all parties involved.
Right? Like I can't.
But I'll get my popcorn and enjoy watching the ride.
For sure, for sure. So before we wrap it up, the official conversation, because yeah, the Lane Kiffin thing was just me needing to say like, must we always just choose the money only and consider nothing else? But the other piece that I found interesting about the end of this, or as the season's winding up now, is the whole thing, and it's going to be every season. We know this because you need drama of the college football playoff.
Who
Who's
gets
in?
left out?
Who's out?
When it was four teams, it was a problem. Like that's why we need to go to 12. We've gone to 12, and now it's like the 13th. Now
Yeah,
we need to go to 16. It's going to be
I'm
the
like,
17th. Like it's always going to be a problem, right?
because there's always
And
going to be somebody on the bubble.
like so I was not mad, and I know we're landing the plane, but I was not mad.
Yeah,
I was not mad last year when Alabama didn't make it. Alabama didn't deserve to make it last year.
got it. Yep, yep,
Okay.
yeah.
I would not have been mad
Mm,
if Alabama had not made it this year.
this year. Yeah,
I am an Alabama fan.
yeah, yeah,
I roll Tide.
yeah.
But do I want to see this team as it's currently constituted and playing? Like
I mean,
in a playoff game? I can't say I
I
can't
mean,
say I do. Um,
what's going to be different than the SEC championship game, which was not pretty, as you folks would not know this because it was a text between us. But I just sent you the emoji of the dude looking. What?
yeah.
Like, this
And
is
listen,
not good,
and
yo.
listen. I saw it belatedly because I had stopped watching the game and started cooking. I turned the TV off and started cooking dinner. Like mm-mm,
You're like, I got it. I got it.
mm-mm.
I got it.
I'm good. Like I know how this ends. I've got to do my
Yeah,
ESPN moratorium now. Like I went full dark. Like
it's
yeah.
not
I
pretty.
just I and so I think that the committee and I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said a lot since Sunday, but I think the mistake is seeing how the sausage is made so many
Yeah,
weeks prior to the final
yeah.
ranking.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Like
It's a
maybe
really
we
good
don't need,
point.
but
Maybe we
again,
shouldn't.
capitalism. So we have to have the shows to create the narratives
We're
and the
gonna make it.
drama
They
to
will
keep
definitely.
you.
Yep.
So yeah, but I think that's a problem. And because of capitalism, I do think that Alabama's always going to be in the conversation about whatever the number of teams in Alabama. Alabama has to play itself out of
Yeah.
the playoff.
W- Well,
And
yeah,
and so it stays at
yeah.
9, although it got its behind beat Saturday.
And it was one of those things where when someone says a team shouldn't be punished for playing a conference championship game, I go, of course not. That's fair. Not everybody plays a conference championship game. That's fair. And then I watch that game and go, you can't put that team
You
at
can't
nine.
put, but you can't like they didn't play in the they did not play in the conference championship
That's
game.
really funny. That's really funny.
They
That's really,
they
really
they showed up, but they didn't play.
They showed up. They really got spanked. I was like, wow,
They
this is not great.
no, it was a drubbing. I mean, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
Now, for those on the outside looking in, I appreciate your honesty. I love a sports fan who can be real about their team. That I really
Yeah,
respect.
I can.
I love it. I respect it. Here's the other side. On the outside looking in, you have Notre Dame. And I'm going to take the wheel here for a second. Again, I'm
Yeah, go
not
for
a
it.
college
Go for it.
football expert. I'm not any of these things, but I keep up with sport pretty well. And what I'm about to speak to is of the broader cultural piece. I was particularly offended, and they're not the only school to turn down a bowl game. And I get that when the players don't play, I'm like, hey, they got to take care of themselves, all that. But I was particularly offended that Notre Dame decided not to play a bowl game for a few different reasons. One of them being, how much special treatment is your school supposed to get? I mean, it's such a and it's funny because now they have the black head coach, and I get that, and I'm like, but it just reeked of a certain like, do you know who I am?
Right,
And I
right.
was
I'm
like,
Notre Dame. Like, yeah.
I was like, y'all are not supposed to have an automatic place in the playoff. Like a system's been worked out and whatever, but like you lost. Like it's always been that way. I mean, I remember as a kid, like a team would lose one game in October, and you start being like, they are probably not going to be the national champion.
Right.
Like this system has fixed that, but like they have two losses. I think there were arguments to be made for other teams. I just thought the
The
outrage.
outrage was far exceeded
Right? Yeah, yeah.
the
You're
the
agreeing. Sorry.
the
Yeah, I'm gonna
degree.
hand
Yeah,
it over.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And they're kind of going in with their partner, the ACC. The back and forth, but between them
I
around
know
all of
that
this is
was
pretty
crazy.
fascinating too.
Yes, speak to it for those who are not aware, or I can jump in there too. But yeah,
Well,
yeah,
yeah. So Notre Dame is an independent football program, but for the purpose of its other athletic sports or programs, it's a part of the ACC, right?
right, right.
And um, it was a question of whether Notre Dame or Miami, a member of the ACC, like they were bidding for the final spot, basically,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Miami got selected, obviously. In their head to head, Miami won, right?
That's. I mean, at the end of the day, there's no getting around that argument. But continue.
And the ACC appropriately respected and appreciated the fact that its member team made it. Sorry to you, Notre Dame. Uh, but like we are happy that we think that the committee made the right choice,
Right,
which
right.
set Notre Dame off. Their AD is now saying like irreparable damage has been done to
To the
in our
relationship.
relationship with
Yeah,
the
I saw that.
ACC.
Yep.
It's like, but it, they, it's like somebody put. I think Bomani put it like this: like your extended family. Miami is family. You always choose family over extended family.
And you chose to be extended
And you
family.
chose to
You
be extended
benefit
family. You
from
could have
being
come in
extended
the
family.
fold.
You want to have your own TV deal, and you want to have your own this and your that. You're Notre Dame. Well, yeah. And by the way, when we talk about family versus extended family, especially when extended family keeps their all their money and
Yeah,
family shares their money with the rest of the family. Like
right.
as long as we talk about capitalism through this whole thing, if I'm the ACC, I'm like, not only on GP, but also as a business decision, all our schools are going to get some money if Miami goes.
Right. Everybody eats, literally.
Everybody eats if Miami goes. Only you eat if you go. Why would we be rooting for you
Well,
to go?
right, right, right.
And it wasn't like they had to cross any lines. Miami beat Notre Dame, so it just there was just a for me. It's maybe it's particularly in the times we're in, but just this hubris of we are Notre Dame that
Well,
like
Catholics versus convicts. There's
it
always
had
that.
it had that
Like that,
energy for me,
they are above
right?
everybody. We're just lucky to be in their presence.
And I thought like yeah, and sometimes these other schools that make it, the James Madison, whatever, I'm like, well, dang, like every once in a while they've got like somehow in football I feel like it's very it's almost there's a begrudging thing. Whereas basketball, and I get they're different sports, the tournament is different, but I feel like you hear that, University of I ain't never heard of it is in the tournament. It's like, oh cool. And it feels like if anybody who isn't in that like blue bloodish
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
group doesn't, gets any love on in football,
It's
it's
just
a
not the same,
problem.
and we love it and to see it in March Madness,
Yeah.
but we need our go tos. We need that familiarity. We don't want no strangers coming up. We don't want no Tulanes. We don't want no James Madison. Like
Right?
who are they? We don't
Who
know
are
them. Why am
I
I
don't know.
supposed to? Why am I supposed to watch them play Oregon and is it Ole
Yeah,
Miss?
I
I
think Ole
think something
Miss
like that.
plays. Right. Yeah,
Oh
but and
yeah,
I you may have just hit something actually with that, and we were right, but you may have hit something there, which is I watched the tournament, so you can afford to have University I ain't never heard of it because I'm still gonna watch it.
yeah,
Whereas if you have Alabama, if you have Notre Dame, if you have we know the names. you're going to get like a significantly higher number of eyeballs. I will watch a 215 with a school I know is going to be lucky to not get doubled up, and I will watch the whole game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
maybe that's part of their calculus too, or the calculus of the sport in general. But it seems unfair to me that Notre Dame seemed that entitled to a spot in the playoff.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah,
And it started a wave of, as we close wrap out, like wrap
yeah.
up, like a number of teams subsequently declined bowl invitations. So now it's kind of this thing.
Which it has become exactly what people warned was bowls are going to become irrelevant because they're going to be basically the NIT of this new system, right? Like the
Yeah.
NIT used to
Yeah.
be it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now the NIT is like they get the same treatment of these bowls, which is like we ain't playing no NIT.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyhow, all right. Well, where should people find you? Or I know the writing is coming. For right now, should we just say the writing is
The
coming? Is
writing
that
is coming. The discipline is lagging behind the ideas.
it?
So
Listen,
I'm
you,
being candid in the moment. Like the ideas are there, the discipline to like.
yeah. I will say to you, my sister in arms, that I overstand in the words of Nas. Because I know Daffy, like, if you tell me one more daggone idea, you're gonna write about.
Yeah.
So it happens. But yes, we will get through this too. Please check this out, the past episodes out on Align Originals, where you can also check out Align Family, where we're talking about family issues and parenting and sort of dealing with our own growing up while we're dealing with other folks growing up. Align Your Mojo, where we talk about lifestyle of all sorts. And we have Unstuck AF, one-on-one interviews with all sorts of people who have gotten stuck and gotten themselves unstuck, or in the process of getting themselves unstuck. Some truly inspirational stories. So check that out as well. All Align Originals on your YouTube. It's your YouTube channel, and that is where you can find us. Until next
Yep.
time, thanks so much, Professor Michelle. You always
Thank you,
bring
my
it. You
friend.
always bring
Great to
it.
talk to you as always.
All right, now.
All
See you
right.
later.